久しぶりだな。全員通だ。
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Spencer Seisha, back again after a few months. Had a lot of stuff going on, but today I'm going to hit you with like a 3 to 5 minute review of Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Infinity Castle, the movie. There are going to be spoilers, and there are going to be certain plot points that are going to be talked about, so if you do not want it spoiled, please click off of the video now. That being said, I'm going to get started. Here we go. Alright, so I'm going to start off talking just about a little bit of the animation and the atmosphere that was included in the Infinity Castle movie, and a little bit how it relates to the earlier seasons and how it's changed and how it it plays into effect, for lack of better terms. This movie in particular was very dark in atmosphere. Obviously they were inside the Infinity Castle. They had a lot going on compared to the other arcs. So like the Mugen Train arc or the Entertainment District arc, those were both lit a lot more. They were more vibrant and everything. In this one, because you can tell that it's supposed to be the start to the end of a story, kind of like how the Avengers were back in like Avengers Infinity War back in 2018 was. You see that this is like the start to an end of a story, and you can really sense the urgency, especially with the camera movements and the different ways that they go about showing the fight sequences. It's a lot more holistic, and it's a lot more it shows the vibrancy of what's going on without making it seem lively, if that makes sense. It's very, very true to the urgency of the story. And the camera movements especially are something that I think is going to set a new standard for the entirety of the rest of anime from here on out. They're essentially camera movements that can be done in real life, and you fly through battle, and you fly through when these demons come in, and their different sequences, and it's just really builds a big sense of atmosphere and dread even, and it's really just an interesting, I guess, way to perceive anime, and I'm really excited to see where they go from here with that. Alright, now I'm just going to talk a little bit about the characters here. I really appreciate the journey that they had both Tanjiro and Zenitsu specifically go through. I think it was really interesting to have, if I'm going to start out with Zenitsu, it was very interesting to have him go from being this whiny crybaby who was always screaming and yelling about everything to a really, a stone cold badass character. He really got control over himself, and I know that it was explored a little bit more in the manga than it was in the show, but it was interesting to see him take on that role of understanding and getting rid of his self-doubt so that he could take care of and help other people as well as himself. The way that he played off of his superior, for lack of better terms as well, was a really devastating sequence to watch. You see his former, the person he trained with turn into an upper six demon, and it was really sad, but you got to see his character development go from such a complainy, whiny character who was a comic relief to really showing who he was as a person and his heart. And then going to Tanjiro. Tanjiro he's always had like the fighting spirit and a strong heart, but it was interesting to see him go from understanding that you have to have that fighting spirit to realizing that that's not what it's all about, and that there is a higher plane to go to, and that there are things that are deeper than just fighting. He wants to be able to see the good in everybody, and he lets his anger and emotions get control of him, and it was really interesting seeing him specifically gain control over that and really ascend to a higher plane and just be able to get a larger control on his character. I think that also the backstory for Akaza, you really start out with him you want Tanjiro and Gyu to cut his head off. You really want them to just destroy him. But by the end of the movie, you feel bad. You feel bad for Akaza and what he's gone through, and all the stuff that's made him him. It's really devastating to watch, and I'm really glad that they were able to explore that characterization and actually give us a backstory so we knew what was going on. And you know, these demons all forget that they're human, but it's interesting to see them and what they once were. It gives a lot more humanization to the story. There also was that short battle with the number 2 and the insect Hashira, and unfortunately, you know, but I think it was important to give her a backstory, and I'm glad they did. But it was really sad to see what happened in that scene. If you watch the movie, you'll find out. But yeah, I think something that this movie also does really well is explore the legacy that the series has had of Demon versus Hashira, and they kind of flip it on its head, you know. You get to understand much deeper why these demons are the way that they are, and some of them had no choice in the matter, and you really start to feel sympathetic for them. And it's about their resilience, and it's about the the resilience of the Hashira trainees. You get to really see everybody just step up and become better and more. And I'm really glad that they were able to explore that, even if it was a 2.5-hour movie, and I wish it would have been longer. But it was really interesting to see them get to explore those types of character interactions and let us understand why these motivations were the way that they were. Something else that I think is important is that they show these Hashira trainees really stepping up, and you see the older Hashira kind of understand that this is it. And everybody is equal at this point, and you just gotta help everybody and defend who you're gonna defend, and you gotta make sure everybody's okay. And I think that was something that was really amazing, and just I'm glad that they explored it, because it wasn't as explored in the series. In conclusion, I really think that this was like a perfect start to the conclusion of an arc that has been going on for 4 or 5 years at this point, and it was really interesting to me, because I think it's going to set a new standard for storytelling as well as visuals in anime. You see it gets so intricate, and the pacing was really good. One of the characters' flashbacks was 30 minutes. It was insanely long, but you need that to understand why everything is going the way it is. And I'm very, very glad that they were able to explore that. I think it was a perfect setup to a final arc. I think that the rest of the arc is going to stick its landing, and I'm really, really excited for Infinity Castle Part 2. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my short review. I hope you come back. I'm going to get a better setup than this, but I just moved here. But I'm really excited to just keep going on this channel and have a good time. Go watch Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Infinity Castle. Please go see it again and again so they can keep making these. And you guys have a good day.